And just because there's a reverse, just because it seems there's a curse, does not mean by any stretch of the imagination you are not favored by God or liked by God. Mary's about ready to walk into hell let loose. And she is willing to do it because she knows that no matter what happens, God is in control. No matter what it looks like, no matter what they say about you, no matter what anybody phrases it as, no matter who casts your name out as an unclean thing, doesn't matter, because when you have the favor of God, you're going to rise to the top. You're the cream that rises to the top. It may take some time, but that beach ball is going to pop right back up. Somebody say amen. Now look at this blessed woman. She receives a word, and it's a crazy word. And I'm talking to a group of folk that have believed crazy words. You're going to have a baby without having sexual intercourse with a man. Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a real blueprint for that one, huh? Real precedent for that in the world. God has given so many extraordinary prophecies to people under the sound of my voice. And they're crazy sounding because there's no precedent for them. There's no blueprint. There's never been a book written. Where you're going to go, no one's ever been before. It sounds crazy. But you know what? Just because you cling to a crazy hope doesn't mean that you're crazy, and doesn't mean that you don't have the favor of God. I don't know where I know where we did, the devil, that idea that if things go wrong in your life, it means God doesn't love you, that God is somehow absent, that God is not present. Is that the case with the Blessed Mother? There's something wrong with her morally? No. But she was willing to clash with circumstances that would challenge every relationship in her life, challenge her integrity, challenge her moral purity, challenge her reputation. She was willing to lay it all on the line, just knowing that if I trust in God and my faith in Him is still intact, everything's going to work out all right. Doesn't mean that you don't have favor because you had a setback. When you get a setback, don't take a step back. Get ready for your comeback. Stay in the game. I know you've been through a lot, but this is a year of favor that's coming up. It's going to be favor from the east, favor from the west, favor from the north, favor from the south, favor from above, favor from beneath. But you've got to prepare your heart, just as the Blessed Mother did, to be able to say to God, be it unto me according to thy word. Whatever it looks like, not my will be done, thy will be done. I want you to see. But even Mary had it all laid out. She had a plan and a man. She had it all set, and it was all good. It was a good thing to plan your future. And it's a good thing to be financially responsible. And it's a good thing to live within your means. And it's a good thing to have your own ideas and to think and plan ahead for a rainy day. We studied the ant in God's kingdom economy, and the ant's always preparing in summer for winter. Good trait. But you know, God will even interrupt your best laid plans. He'll interrupt that relationship. He'll interrupt that marriage. He'll interrupt that situation. He'll bring God knows what, God knows how around and tear your life to pieces. Doesn't mean you don't have the favor of God. It means He's going to rebuild everything according to tuned to the pitch of His dream and not your plans. See, Mary's plans had to be interrupted. They were good, but they were not best. So they had to be thrown aside. Are we willing to be interrupted? Are we willing to have our lives inconvenienced? Because, you know, we have it all planned out. I've got my plan. I've got my man. See, the plans represented her ideas. The man represented her security. Because in this culture, if you didn't have a man, that was it. You were dead. You were on poverty street, or you went into prostitution. So there was a sense of no covering whatsoever in this culture that does not extend to the same degree in this culture. It was life and death back then. So she had her ideas, she had her life laid out, and then God decided to come and turn it all around. But you know what? It was all turned around and interrupted for the sake of favor. She was about ready to clash with favor. Now, so just Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said, God is always in the business of tearing our lives apart. As a man who died under the Nazi tyranny, God is always in the business of tearing our lives apart. And I would add, bless His holy name. Because they need tearing. Because until He shapes us into what He is dreaming about, we're never going to find the fulfillment that we're longing for. We're never going to. He's got to refurbish. He's got to tear it inside out, upside down, right side over. And then when we think He's done, He'll shake us up a little bit more. But I want you to know God never leaves you alone in the midst of the process of favor. Now, good things are on the way. But, you know, I have to encourage you. Now, that part of the word, for most of you, is past. It's helping you understand your past. A lot of the difficulties you've been through are the preambles to clashing with favor, with the good stuff. But did you know you need the character that's developed in you during the dark times in order to be strong enough to bear the favor and the weight of favor in the good times? They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. When do you get the strength? During the waiting. When you're waiting, you're getting strong and industrious and you're obeying God even in darkness when no one else can see you. God rewards you and you're developing your gifts and abilities. And the strength you get is in the waiting time. But what do you need strength for in the waiting time so that when the favor comes, you will be able to bear that effortlessly? Joseph could not have carried the public favor unless had been preceded by the brokenness that destroyed his life and tore him to pieces and built him up bit by bit into the man God wanted him to be. Joseph could never have handled it. Noah could never have handled it. Esther could never have. All these people, the litany of names I mentioned are all people God tore to pieces, rebuilt bit by bit, but it was their strength during waiting that qualified them to bear the weight of favor. Can you imagine the weight of blessing? You know, the children of Israel didn't just walk out of Egypt. They walked out of Egypt rich. And you know, you carry a few pounds of gold, it's a good idea for about 2 miles in the desert under the sun. Then all of a sudden gold becomes worthless. And the guy that has a thimble of water, get your water! You know, you'll give all that gold just for one little moist, right? See, our priorities change when we walk around in the wilderness. What you value in the wilderness will reveal what you are. Look at all this gold. Yeah, that'll last about 2 miles. Then it's going to be, God, get rid of this, bury it. Let it sink. Loved one, we've been through the wilderness. A lot of us have been waiting, but we have gained our strength in the waiting time, and we're now ready to bear the weight of favor. I pity to think of Joseph at the pinnacle of power if he had not been preceded by brokenness. Oh, my Lord. He wouldn't have had the character to sustain him during the blessing time. Someone say amen. Don't be that. But notice what the angel said to Mary. Fear not. Before every major outpouring of God's favor, it always appears. Fear not. Jesus rises from the dead and appears and shows the nail marks to them. And they're, He goes, fear not. It's a good word for some of you today. Fear not. Whenever you hear that, something is just about to happen. Check your bowels. All right? Don't be afraid. God says something monumental is about to happen. Just want to let you know it's coming up. Don't be paralyzed with fear. And you know what? Mary had every right initially to be uncomfortable. Okay? I'm going to have a baby. Doing it Mary's way, she was getting skinnier. Now she's going to do it God's way, and she's starting to get chubby because she got morning sickness and she's pregnant now. So everything has changed. Everything is different. And she's got to tell this crazy truth to her family. And you know what? They didn't believe it. Initially, they didn't believe it. Sorry. I don't care what you've read in any books. Joseph didn't even believe it. Now, he was gracious enough to want to put her away privately, but this man was tortured because he didn't believe what she said. Because sometimes God will do something so extraordinary that it's just inconceivable, it's unbelievable, and it defies logic itself. That's who I'm preaching to today. I've yet to find my audience other than you, but I can guarantee they're going to be real people with real issues and real lives, and they're going to have a real past, and they're going to be people that really want to know a way out, and they're going to really want to know someone. Pastor Rick always used to talk about the Vietnam experts that would go down in those tunnels. Our guys would take a knife in their teeth in the dark and climb down in those tunnels, and you don't know what you're going to face in those tunnels underground. But by God, once you've been in those tunnels and learned to map them, then you know how to take people in and out of those things. And that's an essential responsibility to know how to make the most of your broken time, your waiting time, to get strong so that when your favor comes, you can bear the weight of it and you can take men and women in and out of any dark tunnel God's delivered you from. Someone say amen. So be comforted. Be not afraid. And I would encourage you, be not afraid of favor. Don't be afraid of favor. There are people afraid of blessing. Well, if I'm blessed, then I might not look humble, or don't talk yourself out of blessing. I'll take, gimme, my name's Jimmy. You don't want yours, I'll take it. Bring it over here. Bring it to me. I don't know what to do with money. It might corrupt me. Bring it right over here. Sign it to Craig Johnson. Or Bethel Christian Fellowship. We'll take it right off your hands there. Okay?